$500,000 side revenue by 2019 or bust. A crypto follow along. I decided to start this thread purely for me. Sorry, but at least I'm honest. Right? I wanted to hold myself accountable because I told myself I would do $X outside normal business setups, selling online, flipping homes, etc. this year. Unless I make this thread where I have the chance of having egg all over my face and looking stupid, I might not hit my goal. My $X goal? Let's swing it and call it an extra $500,000 this year. I also started this as a way to test all the crazy-ass ideas I have, but I'm going to focus all my crazy-ass ideas about crypto here. I'll post some scripts I've built, scripts I haven't yet but would like to, what I'm doing specifically, and how much money I'm willing to play with on this thread. As a background, I used to trade Forex back a long time ago. I made tens of dollars from it. Also, I have a few different accounts and this thread will be about just one of those crypto accounts. Example, I have a sizable amount in one account I use for a specific purpose. This thread won't be about that account. I'm going to essentially start with a smaller account that more closely matches what a beginner would have starting out in crypto. Plus this smaller account is safe for me to test my crazy ideas on just in case this all goes to shit. I'll post more later in the day. So right now, my main strategy is this. I'm also going to be doing most, if not all of this, on DAX because I happen to have already had the smaller account I needed there and set up or funded, so no wait in this thread for verifications and money transfer. Seems reasonable. Been doing a bit of trading as well, small amounts, simply because I can't learn from paper trading, I have to have skin in the game. It'll be cool to see where you go with this. LTC or USDY? I've always liked LTC, even way before the recent light pay announcement, and have made many trades with it in the past. I'm no expert in it, but I like the stability it has compared to other coins and a few other things you will see in a minute. Plus call me odd, but I like owning the whole coin instead of dealing with fractions of a coin. Yeah, weird, I know, but I just like dealing with whole numbers than 0.00005678 of a coin and the math involved when figuring out shit on the fly without my calculator. I still do shit old school at times. I made a spreadsheet, I'm going to share it with you, but if this gets abused or shared outside the forum, I will take this thing down and it will never go back up. BTW if you open this and see errors, that's on the API's end. Not this sheet. There is nothing I can do about that. Try to refresh the page in 5 minutes and it should all load. Important thing to note. You will have to scroll to the far right and also scroll down to see everything. You won't understand it, but I made it for me, so here goes what each section is. 1. Top, last 30 days data, per day, from an API that ends up showing me in red averages for the 30-day data. I use this for recent historical analysis too. Far right scroll, last 30 days data, but the difference in high and low for each day. 3. Last 725-minute events. Basically same averages as the last 30 days data above, but for the last 725-minute events. I use this for really recent analysis. So while you only see one tab here, this sheet actually had many more. One tab per coin I was looking at. I looked over all the coins and narrowed it down to about 5, then to one which was LTC. Since I am holding very short term, sometimes just hours, I wanted to know the intraday high and low averages and which coins had enough spread or volatility for me to make a good return. Good return in per coin trade. The 30-day spread between daily high and low is 28.755, 14 days 31, 7 days 22, 3 days 27. I know I can't realistically hit the all-time low and all-time high each day. It's impossible. But maybe I can catch the 80% marks, right? That's where I came in with 3-day 80% or 2, because that's the 3-day average spread, at 80% divided by 2, so I can find a midway point. I know I could easily now make $11 per coin if I find the bottoms for the day and set my automatic sell at $11 maybe, but I'm gonna go even safer and set it at a $5 sell. So if I can find a real bottoms for the day, I know there will be likely a $27, $31 gain to the top maybe in the next 24 hours based on averaged data. But again, this is averaged. It's not 100% data daily. This why I try for 80% of that. This is also why I divide by 2, because I might not wake up until noon, and if I see a high price on my charts at 8 AM for $205, but at noon we are at $201. I know I am nowhere near a possible bottom because we have only moved $4 on those 2 time frames. I need to be watching if we cross below $194, or if we are above $216. Why? Cause that's $11 of the 8 AM high so far, and $11 is half of $22, which is 80% of the 27 3-day average. I'm not even going to look at the charts again. I wait for an alert on my phone or desktop until LTC hits $194 or $216, because at $201 it's just moving sideways from $205, and it might do that for hours and days. So I picked LTC because of its spread potential. I also picked it because I could get back into USD very easily and not mess with BTC ups and downs. I also like owning the whole coin. Remember, I am starting out at a beginner's level on this thread or account to show the potential to others. Right now, that account has $1,245 in it, so I could hold ETH too, but I like having multiple whole LTC. So let's say I'm down to $196 now on that LTC price. I could buy in there, or maybe I wait for lower. I'll show you more on this in a bit. But let's say I buy at $196. I set my exit up easily. As soon as I buy, I set a sell for $201. Sure, it could go down to $185 and I wait. But it could spike to $201 within the hour or two, and I've sold capturing $5 per coin. Remember, this coin has an average 30, 14, 7, 3 that hovers around the $27 mark, so it could go below $196 from $205 to $185 easily. This isn't for me to show you what I would do in a trade. I'm merely showing you my automatic exit plan on all trades. How I find my bottom for the day is another story though. This was just showing you the exit setup at a default and automatic $X or %. I'll show you more on my bottom finding later. So you can see my goal is $5 a coin every 24 hours at least once. However, sometimes I might have to wait 48 to 72 hours if things are going sideways. I might also be able to do this 2-3x a day too, making $15 per coin. At $1,248 in my DAX smaller account, at the time of this writing, I could hold 5.8 LTC coins and do between $29 to $87 a day. When LTC was $150 just 6 days ago, it was more like $40 to $120 a day, because you could get 8 coins on that amount. Big money? No, but it could be for you if you make $0 right now or just want to play around some. Safe? No, so only play with what you can lose. I assume, and I could be wrong, most people can spare $1,200-ish. Will this get me to $500,000 by 2019? More than likely no. But you have to take your gains and reinvest them, not take them out and live on them if you start at this level and want to hit $500,000 in 9.5 months. This is just a test, not my livelihood. Before I show you everything about my TA, I want to post this. The top chart is a 3-hour view of LTC on the 18th of February 2018. It's from midnight to 3 a.m. essentially. We have 2 times, in 3 hours, we could have made $5 per coin, and this isn't even the high or low prices for the 18th. The low that day was $211. The high was $229. The important thing to note is you can make money in the middle of those points multiple times a day. In my image you also see more stuff at the middle and bottom of the image that is not a chart. Those are my custom indicators I developed. Having layers helps reduce my risk because one indicator might tell me to buy now, but unless 2 or more are present, it might be a false positive. This will be an important lesson going forward, to rely on just one indicator or information source even if news or tweets. Is there a record for amount of time to notable? I would think this one would be close. This is awesome information, and is a nice addition to the day trading info I've been absorbing. My biggest limitation is that I don't have 14 hours a day to watch charts, so the though of automating is very appealing. Not sure what you mean time to notable. As in time needed to act on data that is relevant in the trades so that the data is notable? Maybe I am confused. I did just get back from the summit. LOL, so I'm watching the 5-minute chart on TradingView for 99% of all of this, and I typically look at the last 3 days of info at a visual glance if I do anything like fibs. I do also tend to look at 30-minute and 1-hour charts, just at a glance to see any bigger trends, but I try to stick with what's happening the last 24 hours and 3 days overall at the 5-minute chart, with a backup to 30-minute and 1-hour charts from time to time. As far as picking my coin, I went back 30 days max in initial selection from the many I start with to look at. When I got down to 5 coins I took a bigger time range view to get it narrowed to just LTC for most of the trades. I got you on the 14 hours part. Since I'm working on the desktop or laptop all day I can kinda pop in, but when away I have this on the phone too. However, I rely on my alerts to tell me when I need to be looking at the charts. Poor phrasing, I mean amount of time from when a thread is posted until it's marked notable by. This one is full of useful, actionable information. So here is a bigger view of my chart day to day typically. Sometimes I add on indicators, sometimes I have fib charts and GAN fans. But this is typical. Something is wrong, trying to fix the link and image. This might be hard to see, but I linked it so you can click and view it larger. But this is the last 24 hours from today's date. I covered up my indicators names for right now only because I want you to pay attention to the strategy, not go and try to find the indicators. That first green box, I had multiple indicators going off for a few back-to-back 5-minute events. This is the time to enter in. Notice, later on a lower price happened right outside the green box. You would have entered in my green box at a price higher than the low. That's okay. You won't hit the lowest low daily or get to indicator for it. This is why I showed you the 3-day average 80% stuff, because you won't hit the lowest low or highest high daily. It's just impossible. So if you got in the green box, you would have still cashed out $5 per coin just a few hours later. The red box is the same. You're getting in on multiple indicators, but it's not the lowest low because that came a few hours later. You did get in around 80% of the lowest low, and within 10 hours you would have hit your $5 sell goal and sold per coin of LTC. I'll explain more about my indicators later, but the important point is to try to automate and not worry about reaching the lowest low and taking an automatic sell at a predefined price point. Okay. I kinda thought that maybe it too. But I didn't want to be ego-like and wanted to make sure I was trying to help if there was a question about time in crypto viewing. So here are a few more rules I live by. If you look at the chart again, you will see times only one indicator is present bottom half of image for a certain 5-minute event, and you will even see where that one indicator is right. But I'm playing with my money. I need a few to align up with that same 5-minute event before I put my hard-earned Jeffersons on the line. So if I see a blue indicator, I need to see a gold or black or purple align up with it for the same 5-minute event. Meaning, it happened this 5-minute, the next 5-minute, etc. What I mean is this. So the bottom half of this image, those blues, golds, blacks, and purples are all individual 5-minute event alerts. I want to see more than one blue or one gold or one black, etc. I want to see them back to back. So 2 to 3 blues mean. Or 2 to 3 blacks mean. You get it? 10 of them back to back. Even better. So I like to see them back to back, as that shows me a trend is happening in time. So if I were to look at today, the 19th of February 2017 at 3:27 p.m., I kinda know it's gonna be a while before I can trade. This is today's chart up to 3:28 p.m. EST. I did include a few hours late 2 to 18 so you can see the low of $213. Why is it going to be a while before I can trade? Because the low basically started at $213 late yesterday, and even if we just count today, it was around $214 to $215-ish. At 3:28 p.m. EST we are at $225. Remember, this coin averages around $27 a day. The 3-day 80% average is $22. Half of $22 is $11. From $214 to $225 is what? $11. We are at the halfway mark of our range. It could go up, it could go down. We are not at a bottom price goal-wise. We also have no indicators lighting up today except one. Gonna have to wait this one out. Not only do I not have a bottom in pure pricing for this coin, I have no indicators really. Maybe something will happen later today or tonight. Before I show you the indicators, I want to tell you one last thing. It doesn't have to be the most money, it just needs to be defined and somewhat expected to return in a short amount of time. The reason my indicators do not light up at the lowest lows, is that just because you hit the lowest low for today, doesn't mean you will get a quick rebound back up to make gains. You might sit at the lowest low going sideways in price for a while and not bounce quickly back up. You know, those $1, $3 gains that slowly inch their way up, by $1 to $3 over 2 days' time every 5 minutes, while also going down $1, $2 to another 5 minutes. Sure, that's a raise in the long run, but it's not a spike back up. It's a slow grudging crawl up the side of Diamondback, not the quick run up the sandhill. I'm trying to find that low that will produce a quick run up the sandhill so I can collect my $5 per coin and do it again at the best chance possible. That's a huge difference in mindset. I missed the lowest low? No problem. I already got my money back into USD, which is good for me and possibly could be leverage if the coin goes down in price. My indicators, while not perfect, are built to spot a low that had a very high chance of rebounding back up to the $5 or more price gain. All good stuff. Thanks for making this. The surest way in trading crypto is without a doubt timing the lows and catching the rebounds for quick 20% gains. Yoda-like patience is required for manual entries, but a programmatic approach could certainly work as well with enough backtesting and data to back up the patterns. Looking forward to the progress. So I'm looking at LTC again for today and a few days back. The red arrow down, large red arrow, shows where the 19th of February 2017 started midnight. I draw on my chart two vertical red lines at $232 and $212 because based on recent historic data last few days, this is obtainable low and high. Obtainable because we already hit it recently, then I made vertical blue and green lows in the same fashion. These were not obtainable highs and lows, but they were hey this looks like resistance or trend levels for low and high. Now I don't base these lines or prices on my buy or sell points, but I like to look at where the trend is right now in my strategy at times. Since we are at $221 right now for LTC, and we are a bit lower than the middle of the green lines channel, I know for sure there is no buy price coming up for a while still. If we were touching the lower green bar, or even the lower blue bar, I could say we might be getting close to a possible buy-in price. However, I would still only buy when an indicator came up. I just like knowing how far off we might be from that event is all. We know, based on the past few hours or day, we have the potential to hit the lower green and blue bar, and more than likely unless we hit a run up our downward target. If an indicator comes up, it will be near that lower green and blue bar. This is just a visual aid for me, not an indicator. If we hit the lower green or blue or even the low red line, if I don't have an indicator, I'm not buying in. Okay, so this is the first indicator I am going to show you. I call it 6-hour average rate of change. Why 6 hours? I just felt that was a good review period. A lot of my indicators were partial ideas someone else coded, but didn't fully do the way I liked or wanted done, so some code will be used from others. Some are just mine. Some aren't mine but I customized, etc. Just putting that out there. If you use TradingView, you can take my Pine code and insert into your chart. Of note, most of my scripts I used for 5-minute viewing on TradingView. Most work well on other time frames, but I built it for 5-minute views as best use. Also, I cannot walk you through setting up custom code or if this code doesn't work in your TradingView chart. It will add this to your chart and this is what it looks like with your chart. You can see the red and blue lines match up with lows in the chart. Are they the lowest lows? No. But they are lows. Specifically, they are rates of change greater than rate of change over the last 6 hours rolling to the 5-minute event. So if you are watching your chart right now and a red or blue pops up, that's a rate of change dip or low greater than the rate of change over the last 6 hours rolling. Will it be time to buy in for you? Will it be the lowest low? Maybe, maybe not. That's why we look at other indicators. That's why I drew the red or green or blue lines in the other posting above. That's why I look at the price for today and the 3-day average 80% stuff too. However, what you can do is tell TradingView you want an alert to be sent to you phone or email when a red or blue line pops up on this chart now so you can log in and see if you are ready for a buy or not based on other info. The red or blue lines on this indicator are actually the same thing, but the blue indicates a slightly less rate of change compared to red. Red is a stronger signal that a greater rate of change happened. Blue is a weaker one, but is still a greater rate of change compared to last 6 hours. I like blues because it's like a early warning system, whereas red can be thought of as the event almost. I mean, you do need time to pause what you are doing, log in, look over, and make the trade if you do. So I put blue in there as a way to pad some time. You should not use this indicator alone or by itself when trading. It is only good to help you as a layer. Could be people think the coin is overpriced, or people are pulling out due to bad news. You don't know, but this will point out that event for you potentially. It shouldn't be used as a gauge of lowest price because it will not always point that out. I'm going to stop here for the day. Will give me time to edit the above. I have horrible spelling, grammar, and sometimes the concepts aren't clear and add or take away anything confusing. It will also allow people to ask questions. I will more than likely start trading in this account Wednesday or Thursday, so just buying some time to teach in here what I am doing. Sorry if I missed it. Lots of writing already. Will your beliefs on long-term value play in your trades? Edit, lol NM read more. If you mean something like, then my answer is kinda the reason is, I've made money on those coins sinking like a ship with a bad rep, and I've made it on a coin mooning with a good rep. So I know these quick and little trades can happen all over, not dependent on their long-term rep or what I think of them long-term. However, at the same time, one of the things that interested me about LTC before I learned their spread was it was a top 20 coin. Top 20 coin doesn't mean much really, because we all have seen what happened to XVG and TRN and a few others that broke the top 20 at some point. Then I dug into other things and liked what I saw. So at some point internally I had to feel good and cozy about this coin before I started digging into its spread over 30 days and narrowing it down to finally picking it for most of my trades. So in a way, long-term feel good cozy got me to LTC when I was selecting it against other coins. But when I do the trades day by day, that is not impacting my choice of where I come in and out of it because I'm looking short term. I do love those news events though, even when I'm short term, that make the long-term value go up, potentially like the recent news they had. Just posting up some LTC today. I might trade, I might not. Was waiting until Wednesday or Thursday to give this thread enough time for questions. Anyways. LTC jumped today high of $251 and low so far today of $235. I drew a channel in blue lines representing minus $11 from $251 and plus $11 from $235, and looks like the current price is trading right in the box. I want to stay away from the middle of the channel and put my buy in hopefully at the bottom of the blue line only if I have an indicator light up. I'm going to back up the buy with checking the 1-hour chart as well if I do. I've noticed for months now the activity seems to really be in the late evening and early morning EST time, like from 11 PM EST to 4 AM EST. Probably activity in Asia. As far as my indicators, they did pick up the activity today on the lows. Acting on multiple alerts is key. If I would have acted on that black and red 6 hours rock alert, I would have been holding longer to make profit or possibly fell into a longer dip. This is also a reason I like to see back-to-back indicators, 2 to 3 blacks in a row. As you see, we don't have that here. At best what we had was a signal something was heading downward. The blue alert with the blue 6 hours rock and the green or red lines dip under the dotted line was a good multiple and aligned entry at $236 for my style of buy. I could have cashed back out in less than an hour. There were no back-to-back alerts like 2 to 4 blues, but sometimes you gamble and win on singles. Wait for at least 3 different indicators to align up and also know where your price channel is before you make the trade. I didn't trade on these. Just showing you more of what I look for and what I like to see. Possible entry coming up. But I need those indicators. Nothing yet, but almost crossing the bottom of my price channel. So it crossed the lower price channel, but no indicators yet. Could still be a good entry, but I'm gonna wait and see. So far, just seems to be trading sideways. Crossed lower level price channel, then went back up and hit the upper range of the channel too. No indicators hit, and while it did do $5 per coin within the price channel, I would have had to time the buy-in perfectly to have grabbed it, and that's almost impossible, which is why I talk about the 3-day average and 80% stuff. Maybe later tonight something will hit instead. Great thread, thanks for the time you've taken to share this with us. Well, did you buy yet? LTC took a decent dip there for your swing trade plan. Sent from ISMG 935V using TaperTalk. So funny story. After updating this thread last night, I watched LTC take the huge shit downward and I thought, perfect time to jump in. It wasn't. I bought in at $236. It's at $207 currently. I had nothing predicting such a huge slide down below the $236 mark really, minus $2 to $3 per coin maybe. Gonna have to hold a bit until it reaches back up and maybe take the small loss and try again. This is why you only play with money you have to lose. You might take 4 small losses and then get one big win that makes up for it. I'm not trying to do that, but it can happen. On another note, I was too eager to trade as well. I really wanted that first trade in this account and posting on this thread, so I emotionally jumped too early. I had just got my indicators too, but I didn't wait for the multiple back-to-backs. Sometimes you take it on the chin. It's a good reminder to not do it again in the future. Things will have to slide back up a bit before I do another trade. First trade and first loss on this follow along. Wow, I'm super keen to get some tools built to improve my own trading or perhaps even packaged up and sold as a so this is going to be a super interesting thread for me. $500,000 from crypto is certainly doable, rooting for you. For those of you curious how it played out, I watched the early slide happen in real time. When it hit $236 I thought this was a good entry. I had my first alert all aligned in other indicators but I just jumped too early. I got the early warning instead of the good bottom. The first red arrow is where I got in dotted purple line. The second arrow is where I should have got in. I learned a few lessons, mostly from a TA standpoint. It was looking at more than the 5-minute chart on the emotional trigger jump. I should have done what I said I would do before, and that's back it up with the 1-hour chart. I should have also took the earlier loss when it ramped back up to $232, but I held on. Again due to emotion. Not worried though. When you lose money you have to not get scared to try again. I haven't really lost it, I'm just holding a bit for a better exit which might take a while to get back to. Also going to be possibly building out as too. Just want to prove the results here first. Just seen your sig. My forum name, which is also the name I use at other forums, came from that quote. I had it before SIGs were popular. I wanted something exactly from that quote but in a digital sense. At the time back in 2000, all I could think of was E and liquid, E for electronic and liquid from water in the Bruce Lee quote, just updated. Nice. I would love to share some input as I've had some success with crypto. Perhaps we could even work on something together. Would be a great honor to be able to work on something with one of the OGs and SIs on this forum. I've seen your other threads. Heck cool. I have that quote pinned up on my wall as well, one of my favorites for sure. Out of curiosity, do you take into account the market depth? I find that it is easier to predict price changes with depth and volume than past movement. Of course, I don't really do any day trading. For me the big money is in early investment. Good luck with your process though. Looks like you've got a good head for it. Actually that is a part of it in the indicators I have, but haven't talked about in this thread yet. Days like today don't really have indicators. The whole market took a dive. It happens. I got lucky and leverage shorted LTC from 242 down to 218, sweet gains. When I thought the bleeding was over at 216, I went long. Hopefully the recovery happens soon. So the market came up some enough I sold and took the loss. I wanted to not miss more opportunities by having my money held up. Glad I sold for a loss yesterday, or else I would have missed LTC dropping to $191 right now. I've done some market research into this area and have discovered that about 70% of respondents were aware of cryptocurrencies, yet a mere 5% had any involvement in it. The market is young and violent, but has enormous growth potential so long as you're not simply gambling with your money. It's pretty ridiculous how much money I've made in this market and will hopefully capture much more as I develop my own business in this area. As MJ noted in his book, simply because the approach you took was a failure subjectively doesn't mean your idea is a failure. Day trading is probably the least successful from a market win perspective job out there. Virtually nobody beats the market, which is why people have created bots to do it for us. Even machines aren't very good at it. I'd recommend refocusing your strategy. I've spent most of the day today rethinking my strategy and backtesting some new ideas and thoughts. For the large part, waiting for another good entry I feel safe about. I'll keep you posted. As the saying goes, it takes money to make money. Obviously, it is entirely possible to make money creating value and selling it to willing customers. In fact, this is probably the easiest method out there. Best of all, you don't need any money to begin with. That said, until you actually have a pile of cash sitting in your vault, you never truly understand how true the above sentiment is. Suppose the price goes up 5%. Boom. Your $1,200 investment just netted you $60. That's almost a meal at a nice restaurant. Not bad for a day's work. On the other hand, suppose you had invested $10,000 and you get that same 5% increase. Now you're looking at $500. Not exactly at the scale of Warren Buffett, but not chump change either. The problem, of course, is that you have to beat the market. Think you can do that? Early in the crypto game I lost $100,000 on a single stupid driven by emotion overreaction. That was when I went from a day trader to a long-term trend trader. If you've got the Cajuns to day trade and think you can win, by all means have at it. Of course, you may want to test your theories with small bets before jumping in headfirst. And as always, past experiences do not ensure future successes. Good luck, my friend. Well, what you are missing is risk management, although it's good you cut the loss on the bounce. If you set a simple stop loss, you don't get caught. This is especially important if you are just shooting for 5 points. Your average loss needs to be smaller than your average gain, and the only way to do this is with a stop loss. Some people say use a mental stop, but most people don't have the mental capacity to stick to it. It takes years to learn to do this. Most people think if they set a stop, the market will know where it is and take it out. That's true, but that's okay because it should be part of your plan. Predictable losses are great. It's the unpredictable ones that will hurt you. I have day traded since 2002, and one of my strategies in stocks was to run people's stop losses around lunchtime Eastern Time. I trade cryptos a lot more now. LTC is one of my favorites. BTC is a different beast and is not nearly as easy to trade. It's a lot like trying to trade SPY. Technical analysis works on SPY, but the noise that occurs where will drive you nuts if you are watching tick by tick. A 5-minute should be used for entries. The longer time frame for seeing the actual setups. I use 60 minutes and 240 minutes and daily. It's actually fairly easy to beat the market in cryptos in 2018 if you know how to actually trade. 99% of people do not. They just bought when the market started ripping and lost all the gains because that's what people do that have no idea about how to trade. It's simple to make money when everything is rising, but a lot more difficult to keep it. On the other hand, if you know how to time the market, it's not too difficult to make money when the market is falling by shorting or bounce trading. In the stock market is a lot more difficult to beat the market if you are talking about picking stocks, especially as you start to hold more than a handful. The biggest thing that people don't understand about any form of manual trading is that it's not just about knowing when to buy and sell. It's 90% psychological, and unfortunately this takes many years for most people to learn. Most people give up or blow up long before they ever actually start to control their emotions. Decided to be way more calculated and revamped some of the TA I was doing. Also set up some new parameters in how I trade to help remove emotion and trigger finger buys or sells. Started with a small trade today, $1,000 worth of LTC. I got into this trade because I was watching the charts and got an alert from a custom script I coded up in TradingView. So what happened was, I got an orange alert, one of my custom scripts at the bottom of the green box above. I backed that up with the two yellow arrows that shows me that RSI and stock was down as well. At the same time, they are both at the bottom of their channels. These acted as a second and third layer to tell me price could go back up. The red arrow was market sentiment telling me shorts were falling just a little while ago, so more people were pulling out of their short position, which could indicate more people going long and price may be going back up. This was a fourth layer for me. The green arrow, while you cannot see it very good, is pointing to a thin black line that is a price box I made, and the green arrow is pointing to the bottom of that price box. The price broke below that price box and I felt that price would indeed go back up because of this break. Now I have a fifth layer. Not labeled, the far right has colored bars which indicate a volume profile based on heavily traded prices. The current price on the chart green box was aligned up to the bottom of the blue or purple bars on the far right, meaning that was the bottom of the heavily traded pricing, and plenty of people had traded heavily at higher pricing, so I knew we had room to go up. This was a sixth layer for me. So 6 layers of signals telling me this was a bottom for now and that price could bounce back up. Of note, I try to make sure my signals aren't similar indicators so I can be sure I am not just looking at 6 of the same type of signal and getting misled. I also had a 7th layer actually, but I didn't really point out. The price not only broke the bottom of my price box, it actually hit a Fibonacci line too, which can indicate support or resistance. I tend not to use these myself, although I do like to see them as backup layers. So even though I had $10,000 to trade with, I only risked 5.10 LTC at $195.40, which put me at almost $1,000 trading. One sport, I set a limit sell to $200.40 and waited 2 hours for price to go up and capture my profit, which was only $25 total, 5.10 coins, $5 gain per coin. To get a better view of the price box I made, see the below. It's just a visual that shows me what $20 of price movement looks like and where I might be price-wise during the current day. $20 is a safe daily movement for LTC because the average 3-day movement is $27 and capturing 80% of it is around $22. Where the red candle breaks the bottom of the box is where I entered my trade, since everything else aligned up with what I was looking for. I'm also backing up the 5-minute chart trades with how things look at the 1-hour and 4-hour charts as well. I'm going to trade small a few more times before adding in more risk and more money. I'm moving over about $30,000 in $10,000 increments in about 2 weeks and see how far I can push it by raising my $5 take per coin to maybe $8. At $30,000 risked, that would have been 153.84 LTC. With a $5 gain, that would have came out to $769 today. At $8, that would have been $1,230 in just 2 hours. However, I am going to look at selling shorts in BitMEX so I can gain on the way down as well. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. I just hodl, let me elaborate lol. I joined around 7 months ago. Started with 1k, dabbling around with ETH, lost a bit and gained a bit back with other small coins. Added 1k extra in Neo, bought at $7, it went to $56 but sold at $28. Then I went all in the request network ICO, at 6, added 1k extra at 3.3 rec is now at 30. Hell, it even went to 1,20, but I'm such a hodler, my goal is to make more long trades like this, 10x every 6 months. I know 10x every 6 months isn't possible forever, even though if I sold at 80h I had almost 40x. As long as I'll be a. Pretty awesome what you've done here. I have stayed away from crypto, mainly out of ignorance and not being 100% sure on how to implement what I've learned in the stock market or options. A few questions. 1. Did you move into 60 minutes charts? When you're trading, what is your trend chart and trade chart? I assume that by you posting the 5 minutes chart, this is what you were using as your trade chart. With your indicators lighting up on this chart, are you trading counter trend of the larger time frames daily in this instance? On the small time charts, you're essentially trading against the robots. I think if your tests work on larger time frames where you're catching that chunk of the move, then you have something. Granted, the trades are going to be less frequent and I don't know how this affects your compounding returns being reinvested. 2. Also, earlier in the thread you mentioned having 3 indicators hit on the same candle. Smart way of viewing it. How did you arrive at this number? You've motivated me to get something open and tested as well. 1. My entries right now are still at the 5-minute chart. My research is both 5-minute and 1 hour at this moment. I've done a lot of scripting of my own code in TradingView with Pine, and I am actually now writing the code to show me both the 5-minute and 1 hour trends so I don't have to switch back and forth between charts. For example, if I write a rate of change script, I write it show me the 5-minute and the 1 hour at the same time as an overlay so I can see both in the same indicator without changing back to the 1 hour chart. I can just stay in the 5-minute and see both. BTW, what I am getting also works on the 1 hour and longer. So it's a good strategy. I just do my entries at the 5-minute so I can spot it sooner, while having the data from the longer views too. If you mean using 3, and not 2 or 4 indicators hit on the same candle, I just came to it because hitting 4 meant I missed a lot more opportunities. Hitting only 1 or 2 meant sometimes I got a losing trade. 3 was the good all-around number? Does it have to be 3 for me to get in? Not always. Depends on the numbers. BTW, I code a lot of my own indicators. So 3 works for me in what I coded. It may not work for others. Thanks for sharing. Been buried so just caught up, fast, so apologies if I missed anything, which answers the following. I've been in and following LTC for a long time. Seems to me you jumped in around the LCC fork, which surely means that right now the trading might not truly reflect the normal behavior of the coin. I've been playing options much along the lines you are playing crypto for a number of years. Like you, I set entry and exit, and ignore any lost gains. I also seem to have more fixed loss realization built in, but it took a solid 2 years to get my tolerance figured out. Totally agree with focusing on just a few coins. I am watching threads elsewhere with people diving in and out of coins who are eating gains with bad buys and fees every day. Somewhere I read someone who'd been trading crypto for 5 years and was about even. That takes a special skill. Good luck. May contribute as you go, because I was doing the same until I couldn't give it the time in February. Don't want to sound like a fanboy, but you're exactly the kind of entrepreneur I want to be one day. Sounds like you have the freedom and knowledge to explore all types of new business ideas, and it doesn't sound like you have huge time investment or invest a ton in HR systems. I'm passionate about exploring ideas and businesses too, and everyone seems to have preconceived ideas about how tech or SaaS entrepreneurs should operate, getting big investments, hiring a bunch of staff, having to disrupt, working 18 hours a day, spending 10x longer perfectly coding software with every tab in the right place, etc. Anyway, thanks for sharing all you do. Did a small trade again today. I'm finding I need to expand out if I want to trade daily. Waiting for the best entry can take time on one coin. I'm sure I can do better. It will just take some time to get the nerves up. I went in at 45 LTC at $207 and 5 LTC at $206.01, sold all 50 at $208.99 for a profit of $104.45. Been working on my own little bot, coding it up and integrating into DAX and Binance so I don't have to hunt these small trades myself. I'm going to let the bot do the work hunting it down and executing the trades. That will remove a lot of emotion and trigger finger accidents. It will also let me trade without having to watch the screen all day, even with alerts and while I sleep. Just going to set it to small gains and safe settings. Entered another LTC trade and sold successfully. $102 total revenue on the trade. $206 total for 2 days on LTC. Time to bump it up some more. Also entered into a trade at Binance for Vacane yesterday during that slide downward. Just waiting for that one to sell, but should be around $110 revenue as well. Looking to jump into some pairs at Kraken since they have a lot of USD type pairs going on. Need to study up on BitMEX so I can start shorting LTC as well. I dig your strategy. After all, once you have done your T.A for the day, the bot can do a much better job time or money wise. They have been studying an ETF quant bot that is beating the SP 500 by a 1.5%, and more people are starting to dig that quants and bots will replace traders. I would like to know, how can I set up a bot on DAX too? Nothing too crazy, but something that goes like, when this goes up by X% sell, when it goes down by Y%, buy, make small gains daily, they will compound. What are the settings you are running on your bot? My brother has tried coding a few settings tied to BTC or ETH and it works either great or poorly and not really consistent. Haven't looked at LTC for the bot yet, but might work better on BTC or ETH or USD as you are trading. Sent from my SMG 935V using TaperTalk. I'm always tweaking, but largely the bot right now works as an early warning alert system for me. This is what it does right now. It's just a CMD line PHP script that every 30 seconds tells me what is going on with various coins so I don't have to hunt things down myself. So if I am wanting opportunities to trade, I don't have to look at 100 coins myself in TradingView. I just have my bot tell me which coins fit specifics I am looking for. A low RSI is one of those specifics, but that is just one example. I am looking for tons of other things too. However, this example today was on LTC hitting a low RSI at this moment on GDAX. Normally I am looking for combinations hitting before I enter a trade. Every 30 seconds it brings me updates. I'll have it coded to trade for me in a bit though. Right now it just alerts me and I check it myself by hand to ensure a good trade or not based on what it tells me. I'm working on it today to just alert me via SMS or email on more specific combination of events so I don't have to have it running on my screen and me noticing it while I work. This is another example. It's also RSI alert, but combined with stock creating a custom combo alert. Some alerts are 2 combination, some are 4+. Entered into a new trade just now, bought 90 LTC at 198.56. I had a lower price and for some reason GDAX didn't fill it. Pretty frustrating, but nothing I can do. And minutes later I'm out for now. $84 made. I could have stayed in longer, but I think it's gonna hit a new bottom in a few minutes so I can catch that wave too. Been a while on the updates. I kept up with the $50 here and $100 there. I thought it was too boring to really post about it here honestly. I mean, I won't get to $500,000 at that rate. One change I am making today is moving away from 5 minutes and 1 hour. The recent false bottoms, all those really stressed me out. I'd find what looked like a good pivot from a low and the market would dip even lower as soon as I bought and fall another double digits, leaving me having to hold the bag or average down on another buy that would dip too. I hadn't accounted for that, and in prior periods there were not a lot of that going on. So I am moving up to at least 4 hours view, and I might go up from that. I noticed that the true bottom or pivot with at least the indicators proved to be more accurate in this slide we are going through when I looked at 4 hours over shorter time frames. Maybe in an upward trend I can go back to 1 hour, but for now I am moving higher up in time scale. Wanted to give an update. I've been doing a lot of research and study. Not enough to give me paralysis by analysis, but just soaking it all in. Some good sources of info I have been absorbing, watching their YouTube interviews, watching their YouTube channel. I haven't traded much the last week. I've took the time to really comprehend everything I am learning to make a trading strategy. Meaning, more of one compared to the one I had before. I missed out on trades on purpose. Learning to get the emotion out is key. I have to learn to be okay with missing a good trade. I also have to learn to be okay with being a bad trade and exiting. Sometimes you have to force yourself into things that are uncomfortable, so you can get used to it. I'm thinking I might put some of the money I have into stocks and divide what I am doing between crypto and stocks. Awesome thread. As someone who threw a couple $100 into BTC or ETH over a year ago, I love this thought process. Originally I was thinking of going all in day trading, but that is not my style or desire, so I let it sit. Reading about your strategy, small goals or gains, and trying to automate as much of it as possible has me itching to journey along this path with you. Going to move some ETH into LTC and follow along. Keep the updates coming no matter how small or trivial you feel your results might be. Thanks a ton for starting this. Wanted to update a few things. I've changed my strategy a bit. This might rehash what I mentioned earlier already, but I felt anyone following should reread and know at least. Same boat as you. When you think about it, last July to December was easy as hell to make 6 or 7 figures. Pretty much every coin was x36. In just 6 successful trades you could have hit 1 million. Of course, it gets scarier the higher you get. Watch, $100 in coin A that goes x4 is $400, $400 in coin B that goes x5 is $2,000, $2,000 in coin C that goes x6 is $12,000, $12,000 in coin D that goes x3 is $36,000, $36,000 in coin E that goes x6 is $216,000, $216,000 in coin F that goes x5 is 1,080,000. Damn. Yeah, it's funny. I took some time off the last few weeks. 1. Took a vacation with family. 2. Had to do taxes and get all that squared away. 3. Overall, took a rest from a lot of the things I was doing just to mentally relax and regroup on other projects I had going. In that rest period, I realized all the people I knew who were pushing their crypto advice and suggestions last year, have all been dead silent lately. Some of those top digital gurus we all know, who jumped the latest bandwagon, ended up like this, and now they aren't bragging about crypto so much, are they? Makes you say Everyone's shouting from the rooftops in the easy market when the tide rises. It's when the tide goes out, you see who was skinny dipping. Going to refocus on this venture come June. May's already backed up with some other work I need to push out. I've still been balls deep through the bear market. Yeah, this isn't about anyone on the forum. It's all those guru types online like TL and a bunch of other ones I know on Twitter and Facebook pimping their advice during the hot trend like they have some magic secret. When the crash hit, they basically stopped. I'm also going to be doing most, if not all of this, on DAX because I happen to have already had the smaller account I needed there and set up or funded, so no wait in this thread for verifications and money transfer. So Jason, did you get back in around June time? I've been totally away from FL since April, and got killed on my crypto this year, wiped out last year's free money, which is fine. Just interested whether you are still trying to make this work. I got back in. Suffered a loss, small one, but that only helped me learn more how to properly trade and manage risk. I've developed a few new rules now and strategies I haven't seen anyone talk about based on research, and have been making winning trades since. I'm not able to trade daily yet, but am placing trades weekly still. Are still involved even though you had a loss? Yes, have original investment trading in the It'll Come Back fund, mainly Bitcoin, ETH and a little Litecoin. Have been concentrating on what I know, light, short-term option trading, which in the current markets can be as unpredictable as crypto. One mistimed tweet from on high uncertainties go south. However, I'm steady trading options a few times a week, and need to spend more time on keeping up with crypto, but that takes time I don't really have right now. Good, you've got some working strategies. Took me 2 years of much less volatility to figure out a 70% model for options, so trying to figure out strategies in the current crypto madness must be quite a feat. As you said before, all the gurus have gone quiet these days. Not so easy without a rising tide. Wanted to check in. I didn't give up. I've just been way more analytical and focused on when to make a trade, as the saying goes. So I have been developing my own strategies instead of following what other people are shouting. Not a ton of trades to report, but I am closing in on a system that will let me trade more often. Here is a look at what I've dabbled with over at Binance for now until I jump back to Coinbase or DAX. I keep things conservative for the moment. Jason, why don't you join a trading chat room? I think you'll find a more congenial crowd, plus you'll learn from them and with them. I can suggest a few that I've worked with or part of. Cunnel decides John Carter's if not, and there's someone who wishes to understand cryptos or blockchain before trading. I teach this at Udemy, and if you're looking to share which cryptos I've invested in, message me.